Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name's Jessie. Today is going to kick off something that I am probably way too excited for. Today marks the start of what I like to call slasher summer / summerween. So what is slasher summer? Ideally, I want it to last from June this month to the first part of August before I go back to school, and I'm gonna dedicate that time to reading as many horror thriller books as I can. So basically I'm reading what I always read, it just has a fun name now. If you haven't seen a TBR video from me before, I'm a mood reader, so I pick out a couple books, that way I can choose between what I want to read. I like to give myself some options because then I feel like it tricks my brain into thinking I'm mood reading when really I have a TBR, you know? So I think I have like 8 or 9 books picked out. I can't promise I'm gonna get to all of them because 1, I'm a slow reader, 2, I have a chronic illness, so I can't promise anything, but I'm gonna do my best. I'm so excited. Let's get into these books. Okay, first book on the list is Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. So I picked this up literally yesterday and it seemed like it would fit the theme, so I thought I'd add it in here. In this book, 3 siblings go back to their mom's house after their mom's passed away, and as they're, sorting through the stuff, they find a bunch of VHS tapes. Most of these tapes have classic home videos on them, but one of the tapes, as they press play, shows their dad covered in blood next to a dead body, having a conversation with their mom about what to do with the dead body. So now the siblings are left with a dilemma of, do they really want to know what happened? Or do they just kind of want to pretend they never saw the video? I feel like I've seen people talk about this, but I do not remember anything that they said. So, I like the concept, so I'm excited to get into it. Book number 2 is Chasing the Boogeyman by Richard Chizmar. I hope I'm saying that right. I was recommended this book by someone who worked at Barnes & Noble. I was there a while ago looking at the thriller section, more specifically the Stephen King section, and one of the workers there, started a conversation with me, and he recommended I read this book. I believe he's written either a book or a book series with Stephen King, and Stephen King has a little note on the front. So this book takes place in Maryland in 1988, and the bodies of a few missing girls start showing up in this small town. Rumors of a serial killer start going around, and rumors grow, so the town starts hearing this idea of the serial killer possibly not being entirely human, despite the fact that the police involved in the case are adamant that he's just a serial killer, he's just insane, no supernatural, anything weird beyond him being a serial killer. In the middle of all this chaos, Richard Chizmar comes home from college. Yes, the author did write himself into this book. And he begins to write a first-hand account of the story of all the trauma that the townspeople are going through during this time. It sounds interesting, so hopefully the guy was right and I'll enjoy this book. Number 3 is She's Gone by David Bell. I have to be honest, I do not remember ever buying this book, but I found it on my shelf and it fit the theme. So basically, a boy named Hunter wakes up in the hospital the night of his homecoming dance and finds out that he and his girlfriend Chloe were involved in a really bad car accident. Hunter has absolutely no memory of the accident. He later learns that Chloe's blood was found in the car at the scene, but other than that, she's basically completely disappeared. Back at school, Hunter is being accused of murder basically all the time. His best friend started a true crime documentary pointing fingers at Hunter, and Chloe's mom, in front of the entire town, accuses him of murder. Because of all this, Hunter starts to do his own investigation to try and prove himself innocent, but during this investigation, he learns that him and Chloe were seen outside of the dance arguing. Hunter starts to doubt himself because he can't remember that night at all, so he goes through this questioning of, was I really that angry? Could I have hurt the person that I love? The next book is Clown in a Cornfield. I believe this is a YA thriller, so this may fall more into like the summerween category. I feel like summerween is like the less spooky version of slasher summer, and I've been calling this idea both. So anyway, this book is about a girl named Quinn and her dad moving to a new town called Kettle Springs, and I've never heard of towns having mascots, but for whatever reason, Kettle Springs has a clown for a mascot. The factory in Kettle Springs ends up getting shut down, and the townspeople start kind of blaming the kids because of a party they threw that resulted in the death of a young girl. For whatever reason, the kids in the town blame the adults for the factory shutting down, so this sparks a big debate of tradition versus progress, and it gets so bad that it seems like it may cause the downfall of the town. Until the mascot gets involved. I thought the last line of the back was so funny, so I'm gonna read it to you. And I quote, "If your opponents all die, you win the debate by default." I feel like this also got turned into like a movie or like a TV series recently, but I also could have completely made that up. The next book is That's Not My Name by Megan Lally. So I do remember buying this book, but I think I thought it was a different book when I bought it. This one is about a teenage girl waking up on the side of the road with no memories. Like, she can't even remember who she is. The police find her, but they're not very much help until a man comes in claiming he's been looking for her. This man says that her name is Molly and that he is her father. He has her school ID, her birth certificate, baby photos, everything that would logically prove he is telling the truth, but for some reason, the girl does not believe him. At the same time, a couple named Drew and Lola get into a fight. Lola storms out of the car and into the night, and Drew just kind of lets her be because he thinks she needs time to calm down. Except Lola never comes back. She disappears, and everyone in town thinks that Drew murdered her, so he needs to try and prove that he is innocent. Yeah, I don't know what I thought this was when I picked it up, but hopefully I will like it. Okay, we're almost done. Next book is Gone to See the Riverman by Christopher Triana. So I've wanted to read this book for forever. I think I put it on last year's Slasher Summer TBR, and then things happened and I just never got to it. This one is about a woman named Lori who is obsessed with a serial killer by the name of Edmund Cox. Lori does everything she can to try and get in touch with Edmund. I believe she finally gets in touch with him through a letter. I could be wrong. But anyway, she reaches out to him, he responds, and tells her that he wants her to go on a trip to his cabin in the woods. She needs to get a key from the cabin and deliver it to someone called the Riverman. Lori takes her sister on this trip with her, but the trip quickly devolves into a nightmare, and the girls are confronted with the fact that the Riverman may not be entirely human. On my last TBR video that this was in, someone commented saying that this was a lot darker than a lot of the other books I had in that TBR. So yeah, I'm excited to get into this one. This one is probably one of my top priorities in this TBR. The next book is The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I've read one other Riley Sager book. It was The House Across the Lake, and I thought that one was okay. Yeah, I decided I needed to give Riley Sager a second chance. In 1929, the Hope family, except for Lenora Hope, was all murdered. So obviously, everyone thinks Lenora was the murderer. No one is ever able to prove that Lenora murdered her family, and when she's accused, she claims that she didn't do it. But after that, she never really talks about what happened that night, nor does she ever leave the mansion that the murders were committed in. Fast forward to 1983, and a home health aide named Kit is moving into the mansion to take care of Lenora after her previous health aide fled in the middle of the night. By this time, Lenora is in her 70s, she's in a wheelchair, she's had several strokes, she's mute, so she can only communicate with Kit through an old typewriter. One night, Lenora communicates to Kit that she wants to tell her everything. And through this communication, Kit starts to believe that maybe Lenora's not telling the entire truth, and she may be more dangerous than Kit originally thought. So the next book I don't have with me because I bought it online yesterday. I needed a little bit more money to get free shipping, and I refused to pay for shipping, so I added this book, and I thought it would be a nice addition to this theme. The book is The Villa by Rachel Hawkins. I'll try to put a picture in somewhere so you can see it. So from what I've gathered, this book is about two friends who've kind of grown apart, not for any specific reason, just because they're both kind of busy in their adult lives. One of the friends suggests that they go to Italy for a little girls' trip, and while they're in Italy, they stay in this villa that was previously stayed in by a famous rock star. This rock star stayed in this villa with 3 other people, and during the time these 4 people were there, one of them wrote a really successful horror novel, One wrote a platinum album, and the rock star ended up dying. One of the two friends starts to deep dive into the past of the villa and discovers the story of the rock star. And as they research it more, they decide that the rock star's death was not an accident. They believe that something more sinister is happening in the villa, but as they start researching this topic, their friendship with the friend that they came to Italy with starts to get more and more stressed. Their friendship starts to crumble, so much so that it looks like the villa may gain another victim. Yeah, the summary looked interesting and it looks really summery, so I thought it would be a nice little addition to this theme. Then I'm also gonna throw in an honorable mention book, It by Stephen King. You guys know what this is about, so I'm not gonna explain the whole synopsis, but yeah, I've mentioned before that I really want to finish this book. I'm like almost exactly halfway through, and I've talked about it before. I've started this book so many times and then put it down because I got scared of the time commitment. And then last summer, I finally got halfway through. So I would love to finish this summer, but realistically, I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm gonna try my best though. Yeah, that's my slasher summer / summerween TBR. Have you guys read any of these books? Are there any that I need to add to this stack? Let me know. I'm always up for suggestions. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video if you're also into spooky books, and subscribe if you want to see more of me. You kind of have to subscribe because we're best friends now, so you're kind of stuck with me. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. Anyways, I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye.